Alright, let's get started. So basically I want to talk about a lot. A lot. I'm going to title the video because the other video, in sequence. So what Smilegate expects from you in 2025. Right? And so this is a long video. Just going to say it right up front. That's why I'm going to do it in take fashion, where I'm just going to keep cutting the video abruptly. Because I've said what I had to say about whatever it was, and I'm moving to the next thing. Okay. So, next thing. So we have multiple paints here that we're going to go over. And the first one is just a breakdown of kind of like what I believe their forward progression can possibly be, which everybody should be kind of assuming is something to this degree, because this is like what I would call the natural progression. But it's more like the pit holes or the natural pathing that we've developed for ourselves in the game, if that makes sense. And what I mean by that is that we have content to expect to come out. Do you know what I mean? So we know that there's, even if Kazeros is next, 2 pieces of content after that the next year, assuming 3-month to 6-month release times. So, 2 acts or 3 acts more in the year of 2025. Hopefully I'm not speaking too quick and that's making sense, because I'm really breaking that down in a weird way, right? But there's a lot to cover here. So again, this is covering all these different equations, though essentially this is where Kazeros will be the next raid that we have, and the likelihood of it and everything that come after it. And then if it would be Act 4 instead with only 1 fill raid, and then if it would actually be 3 more acts, 2 more demons, and then Kazeros. So we're going to cut there, and we're going to go over each one. So again, the first one of this would be is if we get Kazeros quickly, and I can't see it giving us eye level yet, just because the range that it is. I mean, it is possible, because the range that it would be 1700. Like this, I should put that in here, but I didn't. But essentially, like this would be 1700. I'm just gonna write it in 1700. Oof. This would be 1710. And maybe 1720, but to be fair with you, this is not accurate, because this is where we'll get the eye level jump, and that's why I keep trying to tell everybody, like, everyone's like, oh, Kazeros is next. No, Kazeros is going to be the guy who gives us the eye level, so that's why I'm thinking it's going to be Act 5 or Act 4 if we only get 2 acts. I shouldn't have done that. But yeah, if we only get 2 acts, Act 3 and Act 4, or however they're defining it now, it doesn't matter. They already kind of gave this away by wording it the way they worded it. Then I just don't think Kazeros is next, because of the story, everything inside of the story, but also because they just opened up a gold sink, but it wasn't a big gold sink, which was brel, and jewelry, which is kind of like similar to the Argos, Vault, and Vicus phase, where you would need those pieces of jewelry, so similar to what I talked about before in the other video, and I'm going to talk about more in this video. But yeah, so I just don't see Kazeros being this, but I'm going to talk about this anyways, how to plan around it if this is what you believe. If you believe that Kazeros is the next raid, then, and genuinely, you should just be getting these systems done. Then that means we are in a meter dash, a very sped up fucking quick fucking bum rush of a thing, and I just don't see that. I see their content slowing down too in KR. But if we are in the meter dash that you guys believe we are, then yeah, Kazeros is next, and then yeah, you need to push like hard on one character. Don't push your alts, like actually genuinely funnel. Okay, but the next one would be Act 4, and so if Kazeros is that, then that means Act 4 would be the beginning of a new Tier 4 system, like officially, and that would just make this a transitioning period, which actually would make sense, to be completely honest. I'm defying that. I can't believe that, you know what I mean? I think this whole next year is going to be the transitioning year of 2025, basically, and instead, so I'm not going to say instead yet. I have to finish this one, but even though I don't believe in it. But yeah, so if that's the case, then you would be preparing for whatever Act 4 is to bring. So beat Kazeros, you're preparing for this hardcore, and then, you prepare for Kazeros, and then Act 4 you would actually slow down, because it's the beginning of a new system, so you would slow down hard. And then Act 5 would be an automatic gold sink, because we would need a gold sink at that point with all the gold increase. So that's another thing we have to talk about later in the video, is that they've increased our gold dramatically, and there's a reason for that, and there's effects that it has both on solo player base, transitioning from solo into actual raids, how to have one character be able to basically provide for itself, even if you have to buy the materials. They've changed the framework of the game in a way that nobody ever imagined. Well, I mean, I did, actually. I called out a lot of these things as possible solutions in the past, and then, yeah, whatever. Glazing, you're just self-glazed. Shut the fuck up. It's not glazing if I'm pointing it out as a point. It's glazing if I'm just saying, I'm so amazing. No, I'm reminding you They're lessons learned, bitch. And then we have a final secret. Other than the gold sink, that would be Act 5, and the final secret happens basically no matter what. And I can't say that yet. I want to say that at the end because it would be cool when you say it at the end. Also, you don't deserve to know it if it's not at the end. So we're gonna take another take, and we're gonna talk about the second version, which is the one that I said before was my more gut vibe, and it still is kind of my gut vibe, and we're going to talk about it. But then I'm going to talk about the third one, which is what I swapped my prediction to, which is Act 5. So I'm actually over here in this region, and you can be whichever one you want, but because we know the basic framework of the game, we know we're getting 2 to 3 pieces of content. That's a guarantee. So it's not really predicting, it's just kind of knowing how the world works, my friend. Do you know? So anyways, we just have to pick one of these, and I think it's going to be 3 for them, and then for us it might actually be, or 2 for them and 3 for us. Yeah, like that would actually make sense. Yeah, 2 for them and 3 for us, because it would just make sense. But anyways, 2 for them, and I got more stuff for them too. Also, I should just say this here, the KR economy is going to spike soon. Like, they're about to hit their needed income, or their needed expense ratio now. It was a quiet ad. Okay. But they're about to hit their major expenditure at the moment by just looking at their charts that Zeal showed in his videos, and that's why it's funny that he doesn't see that. But their economy is about to get jacked. And remember, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, right? But I'm making the prediction now, so time will tell. And when their economy goes up, like I'm saying it's going to go up, just remember that I said it was going to go up. And now I'm predicting in their economy, kid. Get on my level! I hope I'm right, because if not, I'm going to look stupid. But anyways, next point. We're going to get into the next one. Okay, so this one's the one that I kind of believed, like, again, my gut. And it says, fill the raid with gold zinc or flat upgrade damage. Now, this is actually in Cucklesaid and the Clown, or there was a cloud character in the story called Set that it also could be. We haven't seen her yet, so it feels like she could be the off-brand with Cuckle, but Cuckle looks like he's on the throne inside the smoke, and I'm going to get to that later. But anyways, it has to be a flat upgrade to damage, because we've gotten too many of these systems that we have to actually interact with, so I'm pretty sure we're going to get a flat damage increase. If not, hey, I'm wrong. But it's still going to be a gold sink, so I don't want you to think that because it's a flat damage increase that it's not still a gold sink. It just means it won't be as RNG. I think it'll just be something more like set. See what I did there, but set instead. Similar to like the 4-man raids in the past. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Whatever. But fill the raid with gold sink part is because the brel gold sink and the Aegir gold sink aren't really that big considering the amount of income that they increased us by. So there's a lot to be said there, and there's a lot to cover in that entire concept that we're going to cover later. But again, remember, this is a long video, and I'm doing it like this so I can kind of make timestamps too. So it should make this a little easier to interact with. So let's get to the second one. If that's Act 3, and we have a gold sink and more damage before Kazeros, which makes more sense based on the story as well, because we backed off of Kazeros. We're retreating at this moment, and I don't think they've gotten any new story to identify differently. So that means that we have to go back. We have to fight some sort of demon or 2 demons, maybe even Damien again, right? That's the thing too. So I have predictions on that too. Shit, I shouldn't have said that yet, but I do think we're gonna go back and fight Damien as well. And the person who I think nailed it, because I was talking about this with my buddies obviously, and I think the person who nailed it said that they think Damien will come back in Kazeros, and that actually feels pretty G. I'm not gonna lie, and they make Kazeros like a dumb hard raid. It's like a 1 gate or a 2 gate raid, but it's extremely difficult. That would be insane. Because I think if Damien wasn't 4 gates, it wouldn't have been so bad. It wasn't the difficulty of the 4th gate, it was the fact that you had to do 3-4 gates to get there. It's too much. There's a difference between too hard and too much. The effort level, you need to make the effort versus value, you know, and you guys are doing a good job, so I don't want to hate on that, but you need to fix the solo, you need to go back and fix the solo, and you know it. Also, I want to remind you guys that this is a video where I'm basically going to be covering a bunch of things, so I'm going to add in my own little 2 cents here and there. It's going to be a long video. But yeah, so if that happens, then that means Kazeros would be Act 4 if we only had 4 acts until the end of it, and I think that's actually really reasonable because we would have had our gold being synced properly. We would get the eye level here, which would then move us into the new system. And for them, it would actually be, you know, 2026 anyways, I think, ish, give or take, you know, maybe a little bit before. And for us, it would guaranteed be the end of 2026 because we'd get 1, 2, 3. Do you know what I mean? Every 4 months-ish with a bunch of passes and rewards. But anyways, if that happens, then the last thing will be the gold sink, and it will be my final secret for us, and for them, I think too. That's the crazy part. Like that, the way they're lining this up, just kind of seems right. And final secret, just you gotta wait till the end. So we're gonna cut, and we're just gonna cover the next one. So the third one, the one that I'm actually settling on, and the one I believe in, even though what my gut says is it's the second one, and Kazeros will be in 2 raids, is I'm going to put them 3 raids out. And I'm going to say we're actually going to get another gold sink, new from everything we've been shown. And this actually might be an RNG system. I think it's going to be a big gold sink too, because of just the time period that they're playing this and how much gold we can make in this time period. And I don't mean it in like a bad RNG way. I just mean like it's probably going to be a hefty sink. Just because of the amount of gold that they're giving us. That's like what I'm basing a lot of this on, is the increase in amount of gold that they've gave us. And there's also reasons to say that it's just to help the lower community catch up, or have one character play by itself. There's a lot of things to be said here. But anyways, if this is the scheme, and there's 3 before Kazeros, or Kazeros is the 3rd, then this first one's a gold sink, and I think it's RNG gold sink, not guaranteed flat damage. And then this one, this one would be the flat damage. So the second, the Act 4 would be filled with another gold sink, because again, that's how much gold they're giving us. I know you guys are probably thinking I'm crazy right now. But it would be a flat upgrade damage, so it'd be something that you would want to go for. I think, again, Cuckle Satan or Set, maybe this would be where the 4-man raid is, and that's why I said Clown could be next, or 2 raids now. Just because. And if I'm wrong, who knows? Like, you know what I mean? If it's not Clown, fine, that's fair. But it's a cool prediction. Do you know what I mean? I think it's cool. And I have a lot of evidence to back it up. But, and we'll see. And we'll see. Alright, and then I think Kazeros would be the end, and I think this is the most realistic because of where I think they're going with the game. The secret, the final secret that I'm not telling you till later. Kazeros eye level at the same place, gold completely synced before new soft reset eye level. So that I am telling you at least that part, that we'd be going up stones. We'd be doing what we did before, like Argo stones to bigger tier 4 stones. But yeah, so then we'll cover the last one, which is Kazeros eye level at the end. By then our gold would be completely synced out. It's the longest, it would be the longest stretch, right, that we would have to push. It would be that 1620, 1630, 1640 push. Actually, this would be that 1620, 1620, 1630, I think, and then 1640 push. So it would actually be, he would have to be like an eye level piece of content, a normal and a hard, like an icon. It actually makes more sense. So he would have like a hard mode 1720, and then a normal mode probably 1710, which would make it the 1730 push. And then you would get your gear for free, probably push 1 or 2 pieces, get the 1720 for free, just like Brel back in the day. Okay, yeah, I think I can move on to the next slide. Okay, so I want to say the next slide, I think we're going to get the Fox Guardian next, and then we're going to get the Lion Guardian last, or the other way around, I guess, but I'm predicting it this way, why not? I should just predict that we're getting both of them, because it'd be a safe prediction then, but I will take the risk and actually say that I think we're getting the Fox first, and then we'll get the Lion second. An iteration of it, right? A Chaos version. So those are my predictions for the Guardians that we're getting. I think they're going to be positioned over here, because story-wise, it seems like we're pathing over here, and we're going this way. Also, I didn't notice that, but on that last screen, because of my camera, you can't see. So I'm just going to do that real quick so you can actually see the last thing, what I wrote in there if you want. Not that it's really relevant. It's not really relevant if you just listen to me. But yeah, so back to this one. The character Set retreats into the fog we're heading into. So that was the thing I wanted to talk about too. Is when we're facing off, so you could pick 2 paths in the story. I didn't pick this path, so I do need to actually go do that path so I can see this story, because I need to see what happens here in the main battle, because if I remember correctly, the main battle is somewhere here. All right, so I do actually need to see what's going on there, and I haven't seen what's going on there. Whereas this, I have seen what's going on, and Set retreats back into the fog, so I'm thinking this is Clown and Set in one fight or something like that. The Guardian will be somewhere over here. Assuming we can move this UI out of the fucking way, and then the other Guardian eventually will be up here, which is why I'm thinking this is interesting, because if it's also need places for 1 more of these, right? So we'll have 1 more of those somewhere in here, 2 more Guardians, and then if there's 2 more Guardians, it also means 2 more pieces of content basically in this phase. See where I'm going with this? That's why I still think 5. And then we'll have after Clown, we'd have another fight with who's left? Oh, Vultan, right? Or Vultan already comes out, I guess, in some way, but maybe not. It might. This is why 4 actually seems legit, because then we'd fight Kazeros. But yeah, so somehow we're gonna have 2 more guaranteed raids, and we're pathing this way through the mountain, so... and we weakened him, so we're not going to fight like a big version, I don't think, like that. Or we might like a gate 4 or gate 3, but you know what I mean. Yeah, please just do 2 difficult gates and a gate 3 for the extra gate. Don't, please, stop, enough with the 5 gate shit, 4 gate shit. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Just make that one fucking gate so difficult. Make the first gate super difficult, straight up. That should be the gatekeep point. Make the first gate so fucking hard that, like... if they can't, that's where the people get stuck. But yeah, anyways, this is my prediction. So we're going this way. We're gonna fight a clown set version, or clown and then set, but 2 demons and then Kazeros. Ta-da! But yeah. So anyways, oh yeah, and I circled the clown. It looks like the clown chair. It looks like clown sitting. His foot looks like it's like right there, on the throne, on his little like throne. I'm just saying. So the Kazeros weakened crystal part. We'll take a cut actually. But yeah, so we weaken the crystal, which means that we've changed the fight. We're also retreating. We could be going to those islands, too, to the south on the map. I don't have a picture of those, but we could be going to those islands to the southeast on the map. That's possible, because we did see Varkan, or whatever the purple dragon's name is, leave and retreat, and that could be a tactical retreat on Kazeros' end. It feels like it was a tactical retreat, or a tactical maneuver, in my opinion. So that's the thing too, actually. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So I think we fight clown. We're going to fight, yeah, clown set character, like set combo. And then we're going to fight Thameen Kazeros. But before we fight Thameen Kazeros, we're going to fight another like behemoth type thing, but not 16. It won't be a 16 thing. It'll be Varkan, I think. Like Grand Guardian raid or some stupid shit. But yeah, just because he seems like a guy we would fight. And if not, then I'm dead out. I'm wrong. But it could be another Legion commander. I just don't see what other Legion commanders we have left to fight. And that's what makes the Act 4 more realistic for Kazeros at that point. But we'll see. Secret predictions, still gotta wait till the end. Oh, and that's the other thing too. So yeah, I'll add this into this cut. There's one. There has to be one more story piece. This is fucking crazy music. There has to be one more story piece to set up the Kazeros fight. So we know that there's one more big piece of story that KR is going to have to get, that we're going to see, and we're going to have to get to prepare us for before we even fight Kazeros, right? So I don't think Kazeros is next. I really don't think Kazeros is next. I don't. I think we get a story with a fight with one of these other demons beforehand, and this path over here, like I said, and the path on this side. Right, we're going to go through the mountain, kind of, or over it, I have no idea. But, so I want to say with this slide that the numbers are actually a little bit funky, because the income, we did the math before they adjusted it, after they made a mistake, and then, but it doesn't matter, because you still did fine, and that's what this is crazy, but, and I undershot the math, even with the undershot math already, because that's how I always do the math, so this is funny, just wait. But let's say you were finishing your trans, it'd be about 400k, collecting and upgrading jewelry, 50k to infinite, best in slot, right? The reason I put 50k was because I watched ATK's video, and he geared his characters relatively cheap, so I want to leave that there, 50k to infinite, because you could genuinely spend a shit ton on a best in slot. So, brel system anywhere from 700k, but actually we found out recently it was more 450k. But we're going to leave the 700k again, so I overshot all of these numbers. The raw honing, was 1 million gold, 1680, 5 million shards, etc. All that cost, right? And I think that's from 1640, I'm pretty sure. And then the cost of whatever system's next, and this is also why I think there has to be another gold sink, is because our income is just too much. Like, we just make too much gold. So it's about 1.8 million gold per character. Now, if we swing over to the income side, natural progression checks out. I did the math numerous times with this lower not correct math on chaos and everything. And the lower not correct math gets you enough materials to hit 1660, 1680, all of these pieces of content within a time frame around it. So even if you're a week late or 2 weeks late, I know everyone's like, oh, we're gatekeeping this. No, there's a lot of people who won't clear week 1. There's a lot of people who will still be in that weird place week 2 and 3. Stop at the FOMO, stop at the crazy shit. But actually, here's what's crazy, is with events and funnel, no, no natural progression checks. You literally make enough materials. It's whether or not you pity. I guess it's really how I should word this, is you will make enough natural progression to hit all of these milestones in the time frame you need to. It's whether or not you pity. That's a better way to word this, actually. Genuinely. Genuinely. If you're a 1640, you'll be a couple of weeks late to the content. Actually, I think I talk about that later, so I'll wait. So let's just get back to the income. But then you also make 58,500 gold per character. Weeks, yeah, 5 weeks to farm by yourself, 1660. So that's what I was saying. It's not 4 weeks, but it's 5 weeks. And they gave you, so it's like 2, you know what I mean? If you're playing casual, I did the math really wrong too. Remember, the incomes are off because I had the wrong numbers at the time. So feel free to do the math and get a better result, is what I'm trying to say. Like my numbers are too low. You could probably do it in 4 weeks if you really, put your time to it. So that's why I'm trying to say. The income part, though, is what I want to talk about for a second with the gold, was 58,500 per character. If you do that times 6, which I don't think I did here, you only need 1.8 mil, right? You make 350K a week. That's 5 weeks. Oh, 5 weeks to farm by yourself. Oh, so that was not... Maybe I have no idea what that was now. But anyways, it doesn't matter. So that's actually about 5 weeks anyways. Because you do 5 by 3.5, it would be about 1.5 mil. 5 times 5, 2.5 is like 1.75, right? So you have like 1.75 of the 1.8 mil that you would need just farming all of those characters, which is actually insane. In 5 weeks, though. In 5 weeks, you're going to have a lot longer between these pieces of content. As a matter of fact, I think Brel will probably give us more. 8 weeks. 9 weeks, 10 weeks, maybe 11 weeks, somewhere like that. Oh, we'll see, actually, December-ish. So, like 10 weeks-ish. Which means you can make double that, right? But I know not everyone has a whole roster of 1640s that can make all of the endgame gold at the moment. So we won't say that. I know that's just the extreme, and I have another video coming out for how to be a solo content player and transition into real raids. So just give me a break. I'm doing only the math I can do to make a point, okay? But they're increasing our income significantly, and that's the point here, is that they're increasing our top end income so much so that one character can actually sustain itself. Because if we did 58,500, okay, so I think it's important that we talk about this too, that this 1.8 mil gold also isn't needed initially. It's needed over time, and 700,000 of this isn't needed until Brel actually comes out, right? So you only need 1.1 mil, and we're assuming that you already finished trans, or you didn't finish trans, which is kind of unrealistic, again, because if you just look at my account, I finished trans relatively easily without even playing the game and just event materials for free. So we should take the 400k off, and we should take the 700k off, which is 1.1 mil, which leaves us with 700k, which is a little bit closer to where we're at. And now you wouldn't actually need to be upgrading the jewelry and stuff like that until Brel either, because you know how they're saying don't. It's funny, they're making these videos on not when to our open arc passive, and I don't know, I haven't watched their videos, but all I'm going to say is that you open arc passive closer to Brel release or after Brel release, because it's not, again, this is what I talked about in the past, and this is why I don't always like their advice, but I haven't watched their advice, so I'm prejudging. But if they didn't say something along the lines of what I'm about to say to you, then they're fucking wrong. How's that sound? I'm not even shitting on them directly anymore. I'm shitting on them indirectly, because flawed logic is flawed logic. But anyhow, because the same thing I said in the past, elixirs were relevant for Thameen because that's where they were scaled for in Echidna. Well, these systems, Agar and Brel, Agar is for Brel. I'm not going to say it's not. Actually, the Agar, having your Agar system 1580, 1560 completed before going into Brel is going to make Brel significantly easier, and probably the only way it's actually possible, if I'm being fair. I don't know the numbers, but we could look at the numbers and see if it's possible without. So that's why I'm saying don't let anybody tell you it's not yet until we know the numbers, until we know what DPS is actually required. But even if it is, again, it's 50k that you could build the cheapest character that would actually be able to do the content. And I think that's what ATK is saying, at least when he's saying that's the lowest you can go. I don't know if he means just for Guardians and Chaos. I think he meant for raids as well. So assuming that 50k is the cheapest, not really a big deal. And then you have your honing costs. Now, your honing costs are the costs that are actually going to be steady throughout this whole process. So this is what I talked about before, is that you have to break up your costs between everything, and your honing costs will be steady. But what I want to say first is I want to go back to what I was trying to say, is if they're not saying something along the lines of that this isn't meant for this content, then they're wrong. And what I mean by that is that Brel, everything you're getting in Brel, this 700,000 gold, you have until the next piece of content to get that, and technically that's only relevant for one piece of content, and then the piece of content after that would be the second. So you'd be doing this for a year to a year and a half essentially. So this brel system, the 700,000 gold does not need to be dumped into it quickly, just like Transcendence and all the other systems. You don't need to fucking mile dive it all the way to the end. This is what I'm basically trying to get at. Here, let's go down here. So I hope that makes sense. But honing costs will be steady throughout the entire process. But this one's not relevant because the damage that you're getting from this is actually for the raids after it, not for it itself. Makes sense. It's to make it easier and to make it farmable on a farm, you know, homework, right? But they're all 2 raid systems, 2 gate systems. Relax. Okay, it's not that bad. But anyways, so yeah, so right now we've already kind of established our costs. I don't have the max roll thing pulled up here, and I'm not going to pull it up because I know the numbers. I've been looking at them a lot lately. I think the 1660, it was like 300k, 400k gold, 200k maybe even. It was like cheap actually. It wasn't that bad. Maybe it was 500k. It might have been 500k. But either way, this is 585,000 with 1 character and the 10 weeks to bro. So again, remember we said that you could be late. So let's say the next system is actually 4 months out from brel, just 4 months out from brel. What is that? An additional 16 weeks, right? So it's 58,500 times 26 weeks. When you'd actually need it, because that's what you'd be preparing for. Does that make sense? You'd be able to get into brel while they're all still doing it and doing their clears in the middle of some time period. Doesn't matter when the fuck you do it. And then you'll be able to complete your system because you'll still make enough gold on 1 character to get there by the time you need to. Does that make sense? That's why I'm telling everybody not to go crazy on the system, and why I told people not to advance tone is because yes, it's going to save you up front in tier 4, but it's not going to save you in the long run. And up front in tier 4 doesn't fucking matter because we're going to be doing this for a while, and they're kind of silly systems. Y'all being silly. Y'all need to listen. If you don't have to listen if you don't have to listen either. Like if you're a whale or you have the means to do beyond this, go beyond this. But this is the truth. This is still the facts. But anyways, that tangent aside, you have the income and the natural progression material wise and everything you would need. And here's the cool thing. So then when we get to the time stuff, oh, this was cool. 17 weeks for 1680 natural by self, a series overlapping mats. Yeah. And this is with the bad math. So it's probably like 14 or 15 weeks. Like, I don't even know. Someone do the real math to see what natural progression is for 1680, please. I would appreciate you a lot. And that includes cubes and everything. You guys got to remember that. But, so, okay. So, 3 to 4 hours to complete the main cycle, and what I mean by that is like 1 character, so it's like 12 hours for 3 characters. I'm playing 3 or 4. I'm actually only playing 3, and then 1's on Ignite waiting to transfer, and then I have a 5th one, which is the Deathblade, which is 1615. It's like almost there. She's almost there. I messed up and opened up all the books on the artist, so if I had those books on the Deathblade, I actually and split them up. Actually, if I'd split those books up, I probably could have gotten a whole 6th thing of 1620s. I fucked those books up. I have over 100 and something of them left. I'm actually super sad inside. You have no idea. Those books were crazy clutch, like, but doesn't matter. So mistakes were made. So right now I have 3. I'll have 4 with the transfer. All of them have their elixirs, and the one that transfers will have an elixirs with it too. They don't all have trans. The Pally almost has all of his trans. But my point is that I haven't played in a year, and I'm only playing, maybe 12 hours a week. Because I'm playing 3 characters, and when I get 4, it'll probably be 16 hours a week, and when I get 5, it'll be about 20 hours a week. But I'm not actually going to do that because I don't need to do that looking at this math, and that's my point, is you really only need to play 1 to 2, maybe 1 to 3, and that's all I'm going to do. The rest are going to be 1640 alts until they can push to 1680, and then when they have the mats to push to 1680, then my alt will push to the next alt parking spot. But the natural progression of the 1640 dungeon actually covers everything. You don't need to push them to 1660 if you don't want to, especially if you're playing the long game with the character. If you're playing the short game with the character, like my main, it's worth pushing to 1660. Why? Because you'll get the increasing shard amounts, and you want to try to keep that character at the pinnacle at all times. Also, by doing that, you'd be able to cut back on time played, because if you get to 1660, you're making more, you can play more rest. Lots to be said here. Like I said, there's so much to cover. But anyways, it's not a bad cycle. 3 to 4 hours to play 1 character, and 1 character can actually cover its own cost now in the fucking game. You don't need all the alts anymore. But to be fair, having all the alts does make it easier. It saves you time, because remember, every time you put an alt in, you get to apply the rest. So if you play 2 or 3 characters 3 days a week, you will make 2 to 3 times the income of 1 character by itself for playing less playtime, other than raids. But you could also cherry pick raids. That's the thing. That's not even actually true, because you could cherry pick the most most income based raid on all 3 characters, still doing only 3 raids instead of doing all on 1, and you would make more income fundamentally than the other person because you did the 3 most expensive raids, which I think are Behemoth or maybe probably Thameen, but you get my point. I wouldn't do Thameen though. I'd probably do like a kid. I would not do Thameen. But yeah, so add alts to it, X multiply, but with rest, yep. And then total gold of 6 character roster would be 5.96 mil, or basically 6 mil. So cool, I did actually do it. That's fucking awesome. I don't know what the time frame was on that, but we can actually figure it out. I guess we could just do 6 mil. Ooh, divided by 58, right? 102 weeks. Oh, divided by 6 though, too, right? 17 weeks. Yeah, that makes sense. Right? I think so. I'm not even sure now. But yeah, well, so we're going to move on to the next slide. I hope that makes sense, though. So they've increased our gold a significant amount. And I do think part of the reason why, I guess I'll cover that here, too. Let me take a cut and then cover that here. Part of the reason why I think that they are increasing our income isn't just so the top end players can dump into all these new gold things that they're going to be getting in all these new systems, but I also think it's because it's a perfect transition concept. And like my friends are complaining about solo gold, and I do think it shouldn't have been reduced. There's something wrong with the ratio there, and you guys need to take a better look at the income ratio for solo players. But basically, if you're using solo correctly, guys, and I'm going to make a video on this, I think, but solo is meant to use, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters doing shit content, making, anywhere from an extra 10 to 40k a week to funnel into one character until you can get that one character, because this is the new system that they're setting up, and this is why I'm trying to talk about the income right now, to get that one character to 1620, so you can get to 1640 range, so you can now get 3 raids, which is full dice. You've been doing it in solo, so you've practiced it, you should be fine. Now you go do it in team content, you're getting a significant amount more gold. Doing 1640, you're already more equipped, you're already better, you're already stronger for it. So you're doing full dice for the 13k, instant increase, even though you still have those solo dummy alts. And then Thameen, another instant increase. You're getting, and Behemoth technically, if you learn the raid and you can get into one that's like a prog or something like that, and learn it. Or not learn it, even if you're just there now and got there when Behemoth came out. So you know what I'm saying? The point is, though, is that's how they're designing the raid. So you can use solo raid content to get one character to the real raid content. The real raid content, then you're doing way less playtime because you're playing that one character. You're making 3 times the income, right? So you put that into that one character. It's more than enough is what I'm showing you with the natural income. But then those other characters, you just funnel into themselves. So you either play the same amount and keep doing what you were doing and do one at a time, or you slow down and stop doing all of those, do like one, maybe only one of those solo alts, and just do the main character from this point forth. And it's like just a supplemental income. And then what passes an event, you bring those characters up. So I hope that makes sense. Because it's really important. Like, you need to know how to transition from solo to non-solo, and that's what they're setting up there. Is they're setting up a gold deficit, not a gold deficit, but a way to transition one character in, and then that one character's income increases so much that you could actually even go back and help the alts. So that one character, you could sit in that range, which is a really good range to sit in, actually, the 1640 down, right? Thameen, Echidna, Behemoth, making ridiculous gold every week, genuinely. Or Voldice, that's the thing too. I said a kid. Yeah, that's the other thing. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, or did I? Yeah. And then we're getting Agar soon, which is just more income, and that's what I'm saying. So it keeps happening. It's just gonna keep going up. But anyhow, they want you to transition from solo with low income content, and so basically go from solo income to single really good income, either to more single really good incomes to make multiple really good incomes by funneling down into the alts, or just keep 1 or 2 alts and cut your time down and focus on one main at that point, or keep doing what you're doing and just keep getting one at a time, right? So you have multiple options there, but it's a really good transition. You join the game, you're a new player or a returning player, you use solo to get caught up on a lot of these different contents and a lot of these different things that have been going on in the game. You funnel everything you have into one character with these passes and events that they're giving you. You get that one character essentially to the point that you need to get them, especially with Ignite right now, just transferring the character in, basically already geared, way well geared for everything I'm talking about, all of these gold incomes. That one gold income is going to make a massive difference on your roster. Massive difference. And it doesn't even have to make a massive difference on your roster, because it can just support itself also, so it can just make a massive difference for itself from now on. So you only have to focus on one character. The time reduced in this game is crazy. You could actually play, why I put this is 3 to 4 hours a week. Oh, let me put my camera out again. Fuck me, dude. And let me show this one, just to make sure you see everything. But yeah, you'd only have to play 3 to 4 hours a week. That's insane. It's like genuinely insane. Hey, I think we're going to take a cut and we're going to go to the next stuff. Oh, I did do this. Okay. So this is the end of it. It's not really accurate again because I had the wrong math at the time. But it's kind of still accurate. But yeah, it's basically 4 weeks farming T4 mats is enough to be 1660, 2 weeks free. Because everybody's delayed 2 weeks anyways. So it's really, you're only 2 weeks late. Like, it's actually not that bad, in my opinion. And then if you're a fresh Ignite, you're actually ahead because it's also 4 to 5 weeks out, but better value because of the gems and the other items. Like, you're getting all that free stuff, but you're also getting the 300k shards, which is like 2 weeks worth of farming-ish, give or take a bit. And with events, if you saved it on your roster, like collecting it on the roster that you're going to transfer it into, it would actually come up a little bit higher. It still wouldn't be even, but then with farming, if these materials, I guess this is what I want to say, if these materials can be put on a character, any character, because it looks like it's going to be able to be accepted into our universal storage, then putting this on a character that was 1620 or 1640 that was already farming for 2 weeks is actually going to make it basically 1660. You might be a week late. You might be take 5 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks. So that's basically what I'm saying here. So it's a really good deal, actually, if the Ignite can be put on any character. If it can't be put on any character, then no, it's going to be a little bit behind what a normal 1640 would have been. Looking at a 5 week to maybe 6 week farm. So then we have 1650. I don't know why I did all of these, to be honest. It's silly, but it's not too silly, I guess. But 1660 is farmable and definitely farmable in 2 weeks. So yeah, if you had a 1630 going in, no matter what way you had a 1630, advanced honing or non, I will say if you had the advanced honing, it's actually easier to hit this goal because it's the easier taps. If you do advanced honing, it doesn't affect your raw item level or your raw armor level, right? So your armor levels are 10s instead of, I think, 12s going in, which means that you're getting just better luck. It's easier luck. It's easier taps to hit. Less materials, less cost, less everything. So to hit 1660 quickly, the advanced honing levels were actually basically better. But remember, I think that it was a waste because this is the beginning of content. You'd rather be ready for 1680 by 1680 and then just go back and do this content quickly. 1660. It was kind of easy. If you're 1640, your only goal is 1680, so don't push if you don't have it, right? And that's kind of the people I was referring to before, too. It's like, if you don't have the stuff, don't push. And I don't think you should push for 1660, actually. I really don't. On a main character, yeah, it's kind of worth it. And if you're already 1650, it's kind of, you're in a dead zone, right? So you should push. But it's not fucking worth it. It's not. Just for the little bit of shards and stuff that you get more. You can hit the natural progressions without even getting this, just with the 1640 income. So do this over time. Do it when you have the gold. Do it when you feel like it. Don't do it because you feel like you need it. And genuinely, I recommend just waiting until like a month after Agar and pushing for 1680. Maybe a month to 2 months after Agar and pushing for 1680. I think that's the better goal, in my opinion. But yeah, so what else? Let's see. We have 1670, which obviously they came into the 1650. It's 6 weeks to 1680. It's probably less because, again, I did this math. You could probably do it in 1 week to 2 weeks, to be honest, because I did this math so long ago. That's what I'm saying. So all of this was padded in the wrong direction. So all of this is less. Like 9 weeks farming naturally to 1680 from 1660. It's probably more like 2 or 3. As a matter of fact, I have friends that have actually done some of this. Some of them are whales, so it's hard to like gauge, but 1660 to 1680, 9 to 10 weeks to 1690. So if you're already a 1680, then it's like 9 to 10 weeks out farming. Maybe like 8, 7 with actual math, because this is like rough math now. And I wasn't going to show this slide, so please don't judge me for the slide, guys, because this was the bad slide. But yeah, that's pretty much all of it. They're increasing our income. The 2 Guardians, I think, are coming out, are Fox and the Lion. And I think that Kazeros will be 2 raids from now. I think we're going to get a raid with Clown, a character called Set. I think we're going to have a flat damage increase that's going to cost us a shit ton of gold. And then we're going to have a system that's not necessarily going to cost us as much gold, but it's going to be RNG heavy as fuck. Yeah. And I think that's it. And not to be, a casual and say that I think they're going to give us story, but they are going to give us story. Oh, my secret prediction. You guys waited all this time for the secret prediction. So what? Oof, cut. So now that we're at the end of the video, it's time for me to tell you what I think you should be doing in 2025, the same way I did with 2024. I think in 2025, the systems that you should be working on, or what you should be doing, are working on your brel systems and your Agar systems. I think that they're going to give us all of 2025 to work on our brel and our Agar systems. So just like last year, I told you to work on your trans and your elixirs, which ended up being 100% correct because the eye level was given to us for free. So anybody who put their income into eye level kind of fucked up over putting it into the other systems. Granted, eye level could be done if you did it after the fact, but you could have done all those other systems easier, right? So I'm telling you the same thing. I would actually work on your brel systems. Get yourself to, so there's a couple of things to say here, but work on your brel and your AGI systems, and whatever gold sync they come out after this, I would take your time with the gold sync that comes out after brel, whatever they're about to get now. Unless it's flat damage. If it's a flat damage increase, go for it immediately, because it's just going to be a better deal than everything, no matter what the cost is. Okay, so the Guardians, I think the next Guardian is going to be 1700, and I'm going to change my numbers from before when I said 1710 and everything, because 1710 is actually like the 1630, I think, push, or 40 push. And the push that I think, two things. I think that they'll make KR push a 1640 range again, for sure, but I don't think they'll ever make the West do it again. So I think we're either 1620, 1630, and then they're going to give us a system to skip into the next system. Always, or just drop the eye level of whatever we're doing. Always. I think that's genuinely the thing that we're perpetually going to get moving forward. So let's just cut this for the end of the video. So why I'm saying this is I think that you should be preparing for, I guess let's go to this one, like 1700, 1710. I would get my alts to probably 1700, and then that'll probably be the best alt parking spot. That'll be the third Guardian, right? And don't do that yet, because you don't have to do it till the day of or until we know anyways, but it's just me telling you guys, like, don't push too far, kind of, because this is where we're getting capped, right? That is the cap, 1700. So I think it'll be 1700, and then I do think the next Guardian after that will be 1720, and that'll be our transition period. But 1720 is actually the 1640 push. So for them, it'll be 1720, and then I think for us, it'll probably get nerfed down to 1710 by that point. But we'll see how it goes. Just because I don't think that they're ever going to make us push the 1640 range again. And you know what? Why don't I just kind of show that too? But the cost is super important. So I'm going to show you guys something. You have to actually use the other website, which is Icebang, to do this, because otherwise you can't go beyond where you need to go beyond. CSS 9 mil, 1.7, 21 thou, 13 thou, right? Just kind of try to remember those numbers, and then we're going to go to Acon, and we're going to do the same thing to 1640. I think it's 12, right? Yep. Might be that. No. That. So that's 1640, and it's not showing the cost that I want on the other one, right? You have to do it with Icebang. But if we just kind of cut back to 1620, and we take a good look at those numbers, take a good look at them numbers. Let me swap back. Oh, maybe it is. Yeah, so 1630, 1640. Am I doing this wrong? Yeah, I think that's what it is. So it's about the same cost. So that's like that range. Makes sense? It's almost perfect. It's not really perfect. It's a little bit different. Like the leaps are a little bit more. Like the numbers are a little bit different. But you get the point. Right. Also, am I doing average, optimal, no additional materials? Yeah, let's do this correct. Let's do this correct way. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. So 1690 is essentially the same as the 1630, which would make 1700 the 1640 push. So it'd be like the end of our push. All right, here we go. So this is why. So 1640 is what I was trying to show too. And it's like double, right? Yeah, it's like double. It's basically double the cost. So I just don't see them doing that here. I see them giving us some sort of transition system at 1700. Okay, something else I want to add to this is that the time period that we'd have to farm this, so 1690, and then we would have content, 4 to 6 months out after that. So, you do the farming 4 months out after that, we wouldn't have enough materials to hit this next threshold, and this is why sometimes I'm like, Kazeros might be the next raid, or we might at least get eye level next, because this is a tough push, unless they were intending you to use your advanced honing at this moment, because then if you add your advanced honing at this moment, it's not actually that bad. It is doable in that time frame. So if you do your advanced honing plus your normal 1690 push, it's not that bad. You can actually do it in the time frame before whatever next content will come out after that. After brel. So after 1690. And that would push you up to 1700, 1710. And even better, actually, is not only is it's not that bad, but you would be preparing for 1700, right? So you wouldn't actually even do the whole thing. You would only do that. So it would be this plus this. It's very reasonable in the next 6 months, basically, 7 months, whatever it ends up being. You know what I mean? Think about that for a second. So that's what you have to come up with. It's not that bad. It's really not that bad. And that is kind of my prediction. So I don't know what else to cover, but the ranges are all very similar. They're all pretty much the exact same. I don't think they'll ever push us into the 1640 range again. Gonna make us push that anymore. I don't think so, at least. And they're definitely never gonna make us push this again. So this is out. Anybody doing this is stupid. And I guess if you wanted to do this, but it's a crazy cost, man. That really is a crazy cost. Like, even if we took off another... Yeah, hold up. We're also in the wrong one, too. But this is doable. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, 1690 is actually doable. The natural progression says you can do this. That's why I'm saying all of you should be pushing your alts, technically. And here's the crazy thing. Somebody actually said to me that they think 1690 could actually be the normal, right? And that's actually possible. And that's exactly what they did in the past. So I'm actually kind of with him on this, that there is the possibility that the next piece of content, as because they're doing horizontal build, right, which means the eye level's not jumping much, it could be 1690 and then hard mode 1700, and that would actually make a lot of sense. Other than the fact that I think it's a 1 difficulty raid, so maybe like 1695 or something. I don't know. We'll see. I'm penning for 1700 with the Guardian, with everything, because it's not a bad eye level to push. In the time frame that we're talking, you know what I mean? We're talking like 7 months or whatever it is, or 6 months or more, 8 months, right? Shortest would be 5 months. So I just want you guys to think about that. And actually think about this too, is that technically you could do the 10 advanced eye level here, right? So you don't even have to do it there. You could do it there and then do your second 10. Actually, it might even be cheaper. Yeah, so 3.99 mil. I mean, 900,000 and 4 mil. 900,000 and 4 mil. It's close. Yeah, it's definitely the better deal to just do the advanced tones. Genuinely, to get to your 1700. So that's where I would probably use your advanced toning. If you're using it in tier 4, it's probably 1680 up. It's probably the better value too, if I'm being honest. I don't know what you'd save on the next one. Right, but I know that just this 10 eye level. Ooh, no. Oh, what am I doing? Just the first 10 eye level would be 1.3300. Yeah, so I mean that would already be like a 400k saving. 0.3300. I mean that's massive though. That's like a 3-4 mil honor shard saving at that range. So that's a big score on that one. And then the array is, what is it, 7.6, 5.6, 2,000 arrays at 76 gold. The price would be a lot, but I think those will go down, so. But yeah, still, this is looking good. I don't know if all these numbers mean anything to any of you guys, but it looks good. The natural progression looks good. It looks like it's going to be 1690, 1700, but I'm going for 1700 flat, just a four-man raid, clown types, flat damage. Remember, that's the prediction I'm sticking with, which is this one. Yeah, so I actually have to swap these kind of. I'm sorry, I actually think that the flat damage will come first. I apologize. Or no, I'm sorry, brel is a flat damage, so I take that back. I stick with what I'm saying. Because brel is actually technically a flat damage because you just hone it, you just keep upgrading it and get pity. And it's like, again, 600-700k pity or something like that. It's not bad. It's not that bad to get to level 15. Oh, and that's another thing I had to actually talk about too. Let me cut. Another thing to talk about here would be that Echidna is titled as an overture, and then Chapter 1, Act 1, whatever, but Chapter 1 is actually titled as Aegir. So Aegir's Chapter 1, and why would there only be 2 chapters, 3 chapters, right? Do you know what I mean? It could be 3 chapters, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be like 5. We'll see. But yeah, overture, which I think is funny because when you look up what overture actually means, it says an orchestral piece at the beginning of an opera, suite play, or a radio or extended composition, an introduction to something more substantial. So that's what they're calling Echidna, is basically an entrance to stuff. I'm trying to find the karma picture. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. So I do want to bring this down. I'm just going to open it up in the browser. Yeah, there we go. So this is the karma system, and this is another reason I believe that we're just going to get another gold system adding or more jewelry, and why you shouldn't be putting all your money into jewelry now like they are, because it's the same as Vault and Vicus back in the day, and I've said this before that it mirrors that. And this karma system shows us that we're probably going to get more points somehow, and I don't think it's just going to be through combat level and or in-game or in-world things, because it's got level 5 and 6. So I genuinely think we're going to be getting more jewelry with more node potential, or just more arc passive potential, I guess is a good way to word it. And I also think that we'll probably see reworks to Ambush Master in the next year, just due to the fact that they now have the arc passive system to lean on, so you can easily change out or swap around your engravings. So I think we're going to see massive balance work in 2025 as well, based around these concepts. But yeah, so we know we're not done with this, so I do know that one of those raids is going to give us some sort of jewelry type. But I think that's it. Let's just sum it up, I guess. I don't think I have anything else to show. They're also telling us that the gem requirement is really low here to clear this current content, that it's like 4s, 5s, 6s of the new tier, of tier 4. That's really not a big deal. As a matter of fact, in the 2 weeks that we've been playing, each one of the characters has farmed, I think, a level 5 on them, and that's with rest, some of them, you know what I mean, some of those times. But yeah, so they each have like a level 5 that's without cubes, right? So it's very reasonable to farm gems, I think. What else? But yeah, so they're increasing our income. They're increasing the gold sinks. That's how I know they're going to give us more gold sinks. They're doing it also so it's a good transition from solo into non-solo. And those are all of my predictions for the year of 2025. And let's do one more cut. So that's the cap. And I guess finally we'll talk about the secret final prediction that I have. And I think this one's kind of crazy. And I've, been withholding it, and I'm still not sure if I want to say it, because once I say it, I can't unsay it. But I think it's important. Like, I called myself king in a video, that you're bold. If you're gonna say something like that, you're gonna claim king, you got to be bold, and you need to do things that are different, right? So, and challenge the status quo. And I think challenging the status quo is to predict that in the year of 2026, whether it be the beginning or in the middle or at the end, but in the year of 2026, we'll be seeing, it may not be titled this, but we'll be seeing Lost Ark 2. And I don't think it's going to be called that. I don't think it'll necessarily be called Lost Ark 2. But the reason, my justification is, this is actually a prediction I've had for a while, and I just haven't really put it out because it's a tough one to sit on. But at least I won't be wrong for a year. But yeah, so it'll be 2026. We'll get Lost Ark 2. And the reason I'm thinking that is because technologically across the globe, all technological fields have advanced, from microchips to graphics cards to game software as well, with Unreal 5. And I think it was made in Unreal 3, if I remember correctly, Lost Ark. So they've also been updating all the character models. So there's more to add to this, to my theories, my crazy corkboard theories. But yeah, so they also upgraded certain character models, which would make it easier to transition them into a new engine, actually. And it's not a new engine, it's just Unreal. So it's actually got easy transitionable concepts. Like, the assets aren't that hard to actually move over. And I think that's why they're doing some of the improvements on the older assets, because they have to, or they can't transition, they can't move them in. So I do think we're going to be getting a new version of the game, and it's more based on the technological advancements that we've seen in the last couple of years, and that we're probably at the peak of where we'll be for the next 5 to 10 years, probably. And we'll have small gradual growths, but the jump was so crazy that I think we have a little bit of time, especially with the curve of AI at the moment. So I think they're preparing for, what's to come out themselves, actually, as developers, to see what they have to work with technologically. But yeah, so that's everything. That was the secret prediction. And hopefully I'm not wrong. That would suck. But there's a lot for me to be wrong about here. So congratulations to all the haters. You guys have plenty of things to have fun with here. But just remember, I made some very bold claims. I said that Clown would be returning. I said that the next raid will be 1700 flat. I know it's a return from 1710 that I said before. I still think 1710 will be relevant. I just think that 1710 will be the raid after that. Yeah. And then, yeah, I think that's pretty good. The only problem I do see with everything that I've said now is that it just says, like, the more I talk about it, the more it does seem like Kazeros would be either next or 2 raids after at 1710 himself. So 1700, and then we have him at 1710. And, like, my gut really does say to go with 4 acts, but whatever. I'm going to stick with 5. Say fuck it. Stick with it. And if I'm wrong, just remember that I said I was probably going to be wrong, because it just feels right after actually looking at everything. And I just want you guys to know, the people that say I don't do all the work, we did a lot of math for this. I've had plenty of conversations with a lot of very intelligent people about the game, about this too, to run it by them and see what they think. And no, I'm pretty spot on. I had a lot of people try to argue me and convince me that it's not true as well. And they ended up believing in it. So I think I'm sold. That makes me the greatest salesman ever, or there's truth to it. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe, especially if you love this type of shit, because you're not getting this anywhere else. I'm going to say it like it is. But yeah, so peace out, I guess. Right? Did I miss anything? Let me cut and see if I missed. Oh, okay, I missed one thing. And the one thing is that I am going to be doing other videos now as well. So I'm not just going to be doing Lost Ark videos, because just like in 2024, I made one video that covered the entire year. What Smilegate expects from you in 2024. Well, this is what Smilegate's expecting from you in 2025, is to work on those couple of systems that we talked about, and pretty much just prepare for 1700, 1710. Really 1690, 1700 though. Like really 1690, 1700, if I'm being honest with you, but it might be 1700. So you get all your alts to 1680, and then you push your main to 17, but don't go past that. I wouldn't even go past 1690 right now, honestly, if you don't, unless you have the means to play the bare minimums for a bit. But that will be the push. The 1680 up, that will be the push for the content. Like, yeah, let's do it, elite, because by then you'll have your funnel. Even just people who can grind will have their funnel to be able to do that. And that's why. So it gave everybody kind of an equal chance almost. And the only person who doesn't have an equal chance is the person who plays one character. But they don't have to play one character anymore. Because, again, that's another thing. They've reduced the playtime hard. 1 Chaos a day, 1 Guardian a day. Stop it. 2 gate raids. The game is literally designed in a way that's just amazing. But yeah, so I'm going to be going and making political videos. So I just want to warn everyone, because I have 723 subs. So big shout out to the subscriber count. And my next video will have a special intro. I think I got a good song for it. It's kind of cool. But yeah, so I just want you guys to know that if you want to unsub, I get it. And which would suck, but I'm going to be doing things on everything, not just political stuff. I'm going to be hitting into the political pretty quickly though, because I already have videos recorded for it, and the elections are around the corner. But it's more I'm going to be giving opinions on everything. Everything, movies, TV, world problems, things that I see, global political issues, whatever, just whatever, anything, just fucking anything, literally anything, exercise, like, anything that I see that I have an opinion on, I'm going to give my opinion on. I guess is basically what I'm saying. I'm going to be a loudmouth, stupid, dumb, internet son of a bitch. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so I'll catch you guys soon. Like, comment, subscribe. Definitely subscribe if you're interested in that type of shit, because I'm not just smart on a video game. I'm smart in the world too. And watch when I start making predictions in the real world. You guys are really going to think I'm crazy. Oh, that's true too. We can do economic stuff too. That'll be fun. But yeah, I'll catch you guys next one. Peace. Actually, before I head out, one final thing, because Mr. 4K made a video recently that I don't necessarily disagree with, but I do disagree with. I can't pull it up quickly. But the reality of it is he said something about the fate of embers, and I just want to talk about that, and he said that they need to be fixed, but I want to explain to you everything that I just said in the rest of this video. If you didn't watch it, it will make less sense. But even if you just watch this part, and I'll timestamp it for you, Mr. 4K, is that the reason they decreased the Fate of Embers 1640 up is because they already gave us so much of a gold spike and increase that if they didn't give us a nerf somewhere in the gold, that the people below us in the 1600 to 60 or 1580 to 1620 range wouldn't necessarily be able to keep up already. They already can't keep up. They would be able to keep up even less. So that range, if I'm correct, is still getting the higher Fate of Embers. I'm pretty sure the 1580s, 1600, 1610, 1620 even, or 1610 actually, I think that's the end, is still getting the 50k or 100k gold drops. Like, they're still getting the juice Fate of Embers. We're not getting the juice Fate of Embers at the beginning of this tier because they're giving us such an increased raid income that they don't want us to have too much over these guys. It's a balancing act, in my opinion, and that's kind of the way I'm seeing it. If I'm wrong, then hey, I'm wrong, but it's not. And people were like, you're going to call 4K dumb. No, I'm not. I'm going to say that if you look at the way I'm looking at the game and the schemes that I just laid out for you, that it just doesn't seem probable. It seems like a logical choice that they're making and less of a mistake. The imbalance is actually the solo income, and my baby's crying, so I actually got to go. I'll catch you guys later. subscribe to my channel and like the video. You know, that Zales video got way too many dislikes. Fucking screw Zales fans, you clowns, dude. I told you guys he was dumb because his take on the game is wrong. Get over it, you fucking crybabies. Peace.